Okay, so good evening everyone and welcome back in today's class. In yesterday class, what we discussed specifically that we are in the phase of requirement planning and management, not requirement gathering. We are just doing the prerequisite task homework before reaching to the requirement gathering part. So we first of all we understood that what are the roles we need to be understand, who is the role in the project, what person is doing which role in a project, so that you know that to whom I should reach out. Then we see that how we can define the strategy, work strategy. It should be like a SME specific, it be like a complex part, or it can be like modeling, data modeling kind of functional part. That what we discuss in the work division strategy. After that, in yesterday call, we discussed about the risk approach, how to make sure that if any risk happen, we are going to be mitigate, avoid, or minimize that part. Now we are going to be discuss on the planning consideration. When I say the planning consideration, that okay, now I understood that how I am going to take or gather my requirement. What should I consider to do the planning? If I'm a BA, I want to be travel, or maybe let's say in my family, we are planning to go to in a marriage with family on a car. I have to put some planning consideration that I cannot drive car after 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. It's little dull mosam or dull weather will be there. I cannot do that part. Then we need to be start little early, but we cannot start before 7 o'clock because it's a winter. The fog will be there. So what are you doing? You are considering something. You are doing you're making your plans, but you are considering some parameters. So today we are going to be discuss on those specific parameters, that what parameter I need to be considered to do that part. And here we go. When I'm doing the planning, this part basically in this phase, this is the place where business analyst is responsible, and this section is intended to discuss about the planning and management requirement that we discussed earlier. Okay, so in short, if I come here, that in this particular step of a phase planning and requirement, number one, what we have to do, that what are the key planning impact area, means what are the parameters I have to be consider which can hamper my planning, which can hamper my requirement gathering, which can hamper my work schedule, availability of the person, non-availability of the person. Language can one of the big parameter during the planning part, because if I say I'm going to Japan and the people or my customer is not able to speak in English, we have to put some interpreter. So Japanese will say something in the Japanese that person will understand, and then he will communicate to me. So these are the things we have to be identified. Okay, so the business analyst will be able to do more effective job of planning and management requirement processing if he is able to identify those factors. Ultimately point और काम मैं वही कर रहा हूँ, मुझे सिर्फ फैक्टर आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं. But BA box says that we have multiple ways to identify that factor. Okay, the factor listed below the represent typical important factor that a BA should consider in the planning requirement. And these are not the limited, no. This can be more as well. So what they say, that methodology. What methodology you are going to be used to develop that project? If I say methodologies can be waterfall, it can be agile, it can be V model. Now, if I speak from the current industry perspective, everybody is using the agile methodology to implement their part. It means what agile says, that I will gather all the requirements and put into the different in my backlogs, and as per the priority, I start putting them into the sprints. But to do that part, I have to be consider some project consideration, because you are doing your part here as a requirement gathering, but top of you, there is a project also running. So we have to be consider that parameters as well. So like if I say, when I join a company, my goal should be aligned with the company goal. My vision should be aligned with the company vision. So in the same case, if I am planning for the requirement gathering, my risk should be aligned. Or on the top level, I need to be see that what are the top level risks from the project side need to be considered. I need to be considered that same for my work as well. So you can say project risk expectations, automation standard, replanning, needs, location, and project type. Basically, these are the basics one which we know. But if I talk about the method, is my customer is going to be use the waterfall method or iterative method or agile method? Because if it is a waterfall, it means this is the first and last time you're going to meet your customer. And after that, you will meet your customer after 1 year with the product. It means I have to be gather as much as information, relevant, irrelevant, required, not required, I'll gather. But if it is agile, I know after 2 weeks, again, I'm going to meet my customer. So this is one of the parameters you have to be decide. If I'm not able to get the information now, let's take it in the next phase, or let's take it in the next sprint. That is very much important for us to be understand. Currently, as per the IT, not IT, as per the industry standards, everybody is using the agile. Everybody is using the agile. Give me the requirement, I'll start developing in the phase wise for you. That is the task for a BA to understand. And even though now in the SOWs, these things also mention that are we going with the waterfall or the agile methodology? If there's no information, you can ask upfront to the customer in during the SOW sign off or all the things, that was which methodology you are going to be used, agile, iterative, or waterfall, or any other. You can tell me on that part. Okay, so this is the major area for us to be understand. This is the one task I need to be understand. But if I am going in the agile and project is running in the waterfall, it means my vision, my methodology is not aligning with the project methodology as well. So in this case, I have to make sure that how the project lifecycle will be there. Okay, like even the project is going in the agile phase or they're going in the waterfall, or the like we say ना that it's a fixed amount. भैया 5 लाख दूंगा प्रोजेक्ट करके देना, आप 2 फेज में करो, 3 फेज में आपके ऊपर है. मैं सोच रहा हूँ तो 5 साल चलेगा, वो कह रहा है 2 साल ही चलेगा. So we have to be consider the project life cycle as well. Okay, this is important, but here we have to be just consider from the high level part. I'm not responsible here. This will be taken, the project life cycle methodology will be taken care by the PM only, not by me. But I have to be align myself with the PLC, project life cycle. Okay, and how a PLC work? They define, they plan, they initiate, they execute, and they close out. Okay, if say I'm running a very small company and I say, Suraj, can you do this work for me? Suraj say yes. Maybe I have nothing to do in this part. I just say, okay, guys, initiate and execute. Done. In 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 months or 3 months, it's close out. No planning, nothing. This is my documents, guys. This is my requirement. This is my instance. Go and start working on that area. So these things we have to be defined, need to be understand. I'm not be responsible here, but I'm using this feedback to make my work. Maybe the same work will be done by the lead developer as well, because he need to be understand that how I'm going to be kick off the development part. Are we going for the integration first? Are we going on the foundation data first? Are we going on the designing first? How we are going in this area? That we need to be considered for the planning part. That isn't the point says here. Determine planning consideration, that what factors you have to be include in the planning. That is what you have to be understand here. Point. Suraj and Hitesh.
All okay, Atul.
Good. Okay. The next task in the same area, it say consider the project risk, expectations and standards. Similar, अब आपको अपने ऊपर जो प्रोजेक्ट है उसको भी कंसीडर करके चलना है. If there is a risk in project, it may impact your activities as well. भाई अगर फंडिंग ही नहीं है तो ट्रैवल नहीं होगा, ट्रैवल नहीं होगा तो रिक्वायरमेंट गति नहीं हो पाएगी. It is not your risk, it is a project risk. Like take example of the Ukraine or Russia. Maybe someone need to be go and open any new plant there, and the war happening now, right? And every company say we will not work in Ukraine or Russia now. They put the standards here and say no, it's a war zone. We cannot send our employees to be there for the work. No. So these things you have to be considerate. Well, when you are doing your expectations, or maybe I can say you are doing your planning part. Then stakeholders का अपना ही expectations रहता है. I saw some stakeholders where they expect that I'll go on the day one and show them everything. Guys, this. They say I want cost, I want schedule, I want quality. No, it is not a case. We have to be put some expectation. That is called the ground rules. Whenever I start a workshop, I put the ground rules. Guys, we are just discussing on a functional part. No technical discussion will be there. No solutioning discussion will be there. We are just going to be discussed on the process. You had to be give me sign off on the process only. Technically, we will set up another workshop. I know, but as of now, we are just going for that particular part. So you have to be set up that expectations. You have to be understand that part. And then organization standards. We cannot go there, guys. They have to be come here. They are my customer. That's fine. I want to show them my office as well. I want to show them my capability as well. So it depends on the standards as well. All these things will be there. Then another task in the same phase, replanning. You are planning to go to the client side, and before travel, 1 or 2 days before of your travel, client says, hey, I have some emergency, I cannot go for the workshop, or you don't come for the workshop now. Or if you come, skip this part and just discuss that thing. You have to do the replanning again. Because you are going for the 7 days, now one guy is not available. You have to reduce for the 5 days only. Maybe he said, no, I have one more guy, please guys, I want to include this as well in our agenda. So you have to do the replanning here. Everything we are doing, maybe project get delayed for 2 weeks. Now what you will do? Guys, did not get a sign off from the customer, we are not traveling now. Done, understood now. So you have to do the replanning as well in this case. But this is happen when there is a risk at there is a points on the project side, not from your activity sides. Okay. Clear till this point? Yes, because I don't want to put much time here. This is a little theoretical part. And next point is little important. Okay. Then the task. Understand the key stakeholder need and their location. Like I say, they're sitting a centralized or they're disparate. भाई एक ही जगह पे हैं, सब अलग-अलग मिल रहे हैं मुझे. Centralized, it's good. I can go and meet everyone in the same room. Disparate, need to be see what time zone, what way of communication we can do. It's a team, it's a Zoom, it's a Skype, what type things we can do. So you have to discuss that part. Maybe I can say, okay, let's have a one face-to-face meeting, guys. One of my key stakeholders says, sorry guys, I cannot travel. I'll take a call from the home itself or my office itself. It will be one of the planning consideration for you, because if everybody is sitting in the room, you can see everyone. But if one person is sitting in the other place, other location, you cannot see him. Maybe he's appear, he's disappear, some network issue, all the things can be happen there. So you have to be consider these points as well in your planning consideration. Okay, and then finally consider the project type. Basically project type, what they are saying, it can be an in-house development, आउटसोर्स, सब मेंटेनेंस का मतलब जो टाइप ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स भी से इंप्रूवमेंट है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चेंजेस है, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट आई एम गोइंग टू बी वर्क. If it is a new software development, good, it can be in-house, that's fine. Outsource, given to some other company. By maintenance here, there is no development. Some new tool selection, software package selection. Some process improvements के लिए मुझे consulting के लिए बुलाया जा रहा है. Or some org level changes are there. So that's again depend. If I know that the project is type of the process improvement, I will not take my leads or my technical leads there. I will take my process consultants with me on that part. Boss, it is be required. So you guys come with me. There's no technical discussion, you can leave it. But if it is a software package selection, I'll take my pre-sales and my technical architects as well, who know in and out of that particular tool. So these things you have to be considered. Do you have the experience in this area? That also important for you. Clear? So whenever you're doing any planning part of the requirement things, you have to be consider this 5 or 6 tasks in the consideration. Let's have a quick put here. So number 1, identify the key planning impact area that we do. Then the method for the implementation SDLC model. Then understand the project or consider the project lifecycle as well. Then project risk. Then stakeholder need. And at last, type of project or consider the type of project only. After taking these 4 or 5, 6 parameters in the consideration, you are able to draft that what I should be considered. Maybe if I say it's a software package selection. If I'm going for a project of like this, then I need to put something more in the planning consideration. Shall I take the facts and figures from the other tools as well? For that, I need to bring other person with me. It can be a risk for you. Maybe I'm going for a software selection this part, but customer say no, I already selected the this tool. Let's have a discussion on the requirement of the development part. So things can be changed at any point of time. So that is what we say BA need to be work in a very bigger size. He work in a 360-degree angle. Everything he do, which is one required, he try to collaborate with the different people and bring everyone on the same page. Clear till this point?
Yeah.
Good. Now till this point what we did कि boss मुझे यहाँ से वहाँ जाना है. Now the next question come, what I will do when I reach there. If I say okay Hitesh, we are going, you are saying I'm going to marriage, what you will do? Multiple functions are there, lady sangeet, haldi and all the things. I'll attend those parts. Those are the requirement activities you're going to be doing. You're not doing, but these activities you need to be performed. And this is the time when we have to be see the requirement activities. Okay, if you remember the 4 BA activities, right? Let me see if I can have that screenshot again. We're on the slide 47. नहीं है क्या वो मैंने I guess I deleted it. I'll show you. Seems I deleted that part. BA core activities are there, right? I guess I deleted that by mistake. Let me show you something here. Not this one. I'm not getting that correct image. Okay, okay, let's come here. We'll discuss later. So in this particular step, you have to be analyzed. You have to be select what activity I am going to be do, and this is the core area for a BA. This one. This is the life of a BA in day-to-day scenario. Number one, when I say that, okay, what is the activity you're going to be do? Number one, I'll do the requirement allocation, requirement gathering I'll do. I'm not saying that what technique you follow. No, I'm just saying, boss, I'll go in the marriage. What will do? I'll attend the haldi. I'll attend the reception. I attend the marriage. Which technique, which costumes, which outfits, which lunch, which place, nothing we're discussing. Just we're putting the activities. Then requirements analysis and the documentation. When customer giving you the requirement, at the end of the day, you have to do the analysis and the documentation. Because you are not going just typewriter. जो उसने बोला लिख लिया. You have to be analyze it. It can be done or not done, and you have to be document that part. It's a very high level. It cannot be very I can say ground level, or we call it as a user story. No, it will be very high level. But up to that you can understand. Then requirement communication, or maybe I can say requirement assessment on this, and then requirement communication. Sorry, solution assessment. You start doing some solutioning with the support of your technical team as well. Hey, customer said to build a workflow where he click on one button and the email, SMS, WhatsApp will go from that particular record. You're doing the assessment and the validation. These 4 steps have 4 chapters in BA book, which we discuss in depth that what we have to do in this area. Okay, and then once I have assessment and the validation, then I'll go for the communication part. Hey, Mr. X, here are your final requirement list, which I'm going to be work upon now. Please give me sign off so that I can kick off the next level of discussion in my team internally. So if someone say what you do as a BA, you say I do these 4 parts on the broader level. Very broader level, I do this part. Everybody do this part. When I say that our mothers are the richest experience holder in the BA, what they do? They requirement they gather the requirement. They analyze it, how much quantity I need, and they write on the paper. They do the assessment. Do I need it immediately or can be done later, or it's not required as of now? And they communicate to everyone in the house. So these 4 sections will be deliverable, or outputs will be like list of activity with the detailed description, which say which type of resource required for getting the each requirement activity to be complete. Requirement gathering, who will do the requirement election? Atul will do that part. Who will do the analysis and the documentation? Suraj will do that part. Who will do the assessment and validation? Hitesh will do that part. Build a dependency between the activities. Because if you are getting a requirement, then building a incident and change and problem. We are the 3 BAs. We met our stakeholders. Now we're sitting together and we're building a लॉजिकल डिपेंडेंसी. बॉस इंसिडेंट तब तक नहीं होगा जब तक फाउंडेशन डेटा नहीं होगा. फाउंडेशन डेटा जब तक नहीं आएगा तब तक मैं इंटीग्रेशन को किक ऑफ नहीं कर सकता, या फिर मैं बोलूंगा कि आई कैन नॉट बी स्टार्ट बाय प्रोसेस बिल्डिंग हियर. But in the short, you have to be select these 4 activities. You can break down analysis and the documentation. Documentation will be done by the junior BA, analysis will be done by the senior BA. That we discuss which technique, which task we have to use here. Okay, so what they're saying here, number 1 task, determine the requirement allocation stakeholder and activity. Who are my stakeholder to whom I'm going to talk about the requirement gathering? The task entails determining what activity should be undertaken by whom. What will be the role and responsibility of the technical guy who is going with me in the requirement gathering? What is the importance or the role of the SME to getting this part? What is the role of the accountant financing to getting this part for me? This is the number one part, that who can do which best part in this area. Because in the requirement gathering, customers say, okay, tell me how much the budget for this part. I don't know, because I'm not a financial BA. So I will involve my accounting or finance guys there. Guys, can you tell me the practices here? Maybe can you tell me the costing something on the high level? That is the one thing. Then the second task, determine the requirement analysis and the documentation activity. Let's take example here. For example, a small or short 3-month project use case may be used for the analysis of the technique for the documentation technique. In this case, BA may choose not to have a SRS document. What is this basically saying? Now, if I am a BA and I'm getting the requirement, when I gather the requirement, I have to put in the documentation as well. There are few standard documents name available in the market. SRS, software requirement specification. FRD, functional requirement document. FRS, functional requirement specification. So we are saying that what activity will be done. In this example, they're saying it's a 3-month project only. We will not going for the formal SRS. We'll write something, we'll get a sign off. No. In Excel sheet, I'm getting a requirement and we're going to be deploy that part. Okay, so these things we have to do. So let me go through the words here to determine which requirement analysis and the documentation activity need to be undertaken. Like if I say Suraj want to shift his home from the new home, he go to the builder salesperson showing the home to him. What he's doing? He's analyzing it. And when he come back, he start documenting that. Rent itna, deposit itna, 2 bedroom, itna size, ye window hai, ye balcony hai, ye kitchen hai, ye all these things hai. If he has no choice, he will not write down everything on the paper. But if he has a multiple choices, multiple selections, multiple house, then he will put everything in the documentation part. The choice of requirement, modeling analysis techniques and documentation techniques should be made based on the availability of the desired tool. भाई अगर 2 साल का प्रोजेक्ट है तो एक्सेल में तो काम होगा नहीं. We have some tool on the place. But हाँ, if 2 months, 3 months का प्रोजेक्ट है, send over an Excel sheet we can maintain and we can do that part. Okay, so in this task you are determining the activities, that what type of document I am going to build it. Because remember, if I say that I will build the SRS, you need the time for the same as well. It doesn't mean that you are writing and everything done. No, we need the time to write the SRS as well. There isn't it saying that very carefully select what activity will be done and who will be doing that part. Client side action closure will be put into the read log. Who will do? Client will do. All requirement gathering analysis will be done in the FRS or FRD document. Who will do? My BA will do. So you have to be define that requirement document. Who will do? We have the read logs? Do we have the requirement sheet? Do we have the traceability sheet? Do we have the test case sheet? So everything will be defined here. That is the important point, because if you missed out, client say, hey, where is the SRS? Guys, you did not say it to me. Without SRS, how you can start the development part? So these things you have to be very carefully understand. Clear till this point? Any doubt? We will do this thing. We will do. Okay. Then determine the requirement communication activity. So what I'm doing, I am doing these tasks one by one. So ये हमने किया. Now we done this part. Now we are doing the requirement communication. When I say the communication, that how, who, which document will be communicated to the customer. The best capture most clearly communication in the project requirement. The decision on how the requirement will be documented. It's a communication. Boss, after every 1 week, I'm sending a document to you for the sign off. That is a communication. It will be an email. It will be SharePoint link. It will be team link. It will be regular meetings that we have to be decided. But you have to be clearly know this thing that how I'm going to be communicate. Like in one of my company, when I was working as a BA, if customer send me, Atul, this is not working for me. Can you have a look on that part? I clearly reply to that email. Please log an issue in the issue tracker. I'll look onto that part only. Because this is what we agreed. If we are not following the method which we agreed, then we are disturbing our planning and the execution as well. So in this way, you have to be very carefully say that what and how this communication will be happened. It can be presentation. It can be, I can say video, like you can see here. It can be presentation, video messages, web page, anything you can be thinking, you can put it here. But should be defined very carefully here. And at the last, solution activities. Okay, and what they're saying, the decision on how the requirement will be implemented in the final solution. And who will be giving the final sign off on this part. Because I prepare a business, I prepare a, what I can say, solution model, and I send it to my customer. Now the question comes, who will give a sign off on the top of that? Both parties will do or only one party will do? Process get delayed because these things get delayed actually. These 4 activities get delayed. अगर यहीं पे delay होगा तो ये भी delay होगा. If this delay, this will delay. If this delay, then this will be delay. And complete picture will be delayed. So there are the things has been mentioned in these activities. My BA will be sending a document to you on every Friday by 5 PM. You have to be give me a sign off by the Thursday next week by 5 PM. If there's no sign off received, we are assuming it is be approved from your side and we can proceed for the development on that case. So up to these points, you have to be very clearly mentioned. Otherwise, you will be failing. Your project manager say, okay, Hitesh, tell me, is requirement getting completed? Sir, requirement getting हो गया, but sign off नहीं आया. When you send the email, sir, हो गए 15 दिन. Come on, you wasted 15 days now. You took the time of the development team on the 15 days. You know that you agreed with the customer that you have to provide the sign off in the 7 days. If they're not providing, then you have a right to accelerate that, or you have to assume it that it has been approved. And you can proceed further on that case.
Atul?
Yes, go ahead.
So basically the speed is the key here. Like you have to keep on chasing on every document that's getting delayed. Otherwise that's going to come on your head, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because,
and yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. And you just mentioned that if the response does not arrive in 7 days, it is assumed as it is approved. So
yes.
Do we have that clause before we
yes.
sign? We
yes.
have, right?
In these activity, you have to be do it.
Okay. Fantastic.
That SRS should be signed off by 7th or by every Thursday 5 PM. If not, we can go ahead with the same as the assumption that it has been approved.
I mean, so did you just say SLA, service level agreements?
No, it is SRS. I'm just documentation name. So 7 days is SLA basically. It is SLA for you as well. It is SLA for for your customer as well.
Okay. SRS is a service requirement. Something.
Right. So like I take example.
Yeah.
Okay. I was working with one of the value stream, and during the BRP they put 7 stories in a 1 sprint. Okay. I know that after 2 weeks my sprint is going to be start. Okay. On the day 1 in the previous sprint, I send an email to my value stream guys. These stories I'm going to be interested to take into the next sprint. Could you please provide me the exact requirement, or if any refinement required, let me know. They did not return back to me. They say, okay, the initial email come, we will update you in 2 days. Fine. After 2 days, I sent an again reminder. They did not come back to me. And when I was near to start my next sprint, I send an email with keeping my PO in CC that boss, you did not give me a clear requirement on that part. I'm taking it out from my sprint. So that they should not blame me later. Hey, you did not chase me. It's done and dusted. And this thing we already informed in our BRP meetings that it is responsibility of the values team. If anything sent by the product team, they have to be respond back with the requirements or the clarifications. If they know, if they did not provide the clarification, product team has a full rights to take those stories out from the sprint. Okay, so these things you have to be clearly mentioned that this is the impact if you delay that, and it is a risk for you, right? So now you see, now you are able to understand that in the risk assessment, we say that stakeholder response is also equally important. If you're not getting response, things will be delayed definitely. Okay.
That's right. Thank you, Atul.
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. I guess someone on the door. Give me 1 minute, guys.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Now this part has been done. The next part says how much time I need to be spent on the activities now. That is the estimate. Same example. How much time the reception will take, how much time the haldi will take. According to that, you can make your plan to go to the marriage, right? So now it is important here, very, very, very important. Your estimates go wrong if these things will be wrong for you. These things. It may go wrong if you do not understand the scope correctly. You did not understand the priority correctly. So your estimates should be correct, but 5 to 10% up and down is applicable. That is a standard one, we can say. Now come to this part. Requirement planning and management essentially include 3 basic parameters, which we just pick up. Scope, what work need to do, schedule, time to do that, and resource. So you have to be provide the estimates by considering these 3 parameters in your activity, sorry, planning and management activities or the step, I can say. Check. So what they are saying, number 1 task, how to estimate or what you have to be considered while doing the estimates. These 3 are the basics one. You have to be consider the scope, you have to be consider the schedule, you have to be consider the resource. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप क्लाइंट के पास गए 2 महीने में बैठे रहोगे, नहीं. आपको बोला 5 चीज आप करके 2 चीजें आ रही 8 चीजें करके, ऐसा नहीं, नो. So what they say, identify the milestones in the requirement activity development delivery. भाई पहला तो ये देखो that what is the most important milestone to kick off or to start the development activity. I know that I have a 5 points to be discussed with my customer. If I understood or if I get the clarity on the first 2 points, I can still able to start my development part or the delivery part. Maybe rest 3 can be discussed after 5 or 10 days, that will be work for me. But the first 2 points should be crisp and clear, sorry, crystal clear to everyone. That is the most important for me. And how you will come to know? When you see the scope and the schedule for the same. Up to what time or what time it should be done. And scope says that what need to be done here. Now, if I take example, like let's say Suraj is working in a company where he's traveled to the client side to gather the requirement. The plan was for the 10 days. He has a proper agenda. Okay. Now, Suraj manager call Suraj and say, hey Suraj, how much work have you done till now? He says, boss, 7 to 8%, or maybe let's say 70 to 80% has been done. Then his manager start a meeting in the background. Suraj, let's connect tomorrow morning 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock before you go in for the workshop and give the handover to the development team. It means till the time you get the more detail, this much has been completed so that I can start my development or the delivery activities. I can see in the development what basics I need. I need the tool access and the system access. I need some different OS to be installed. All the things need to be understand or to be planned here. So this is the number one part that you understand that what milestone need to be achieved. First kickoff meeting is also one of the milestone, because once the kickoff has been done, then you say yes, now things will definitely move. You get some idea that what need to be do in the development part. Okay, then the second step says, the second task is define the unit of work. Now you have to be break down the requirement in such a manner कि उससे नीचे कुछ नहीं बन सकता भाई. जैसे I want to go to Mumbai from Delhi. It can still decomposed. कैसे? कब? क्यों? I want to go to Mumbai from Delhi via flight in the evening by 6 o'clock. Because I have a need to meet my customer or maybe client partner. It's you cannot decompose that, but that is called the unit of work. In layman language, in the agile world, we call this as a user story. It is not further divided. इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है. जैसे if I say, guys, let's create a login page. Okay. तो login page, what you want to build? I want to create a user. I want to create a username and the password. OK button, cancel button. Fine. Now, if I need to be define the unit of work, create a field on a page this with the name called the username. Now you cannot decompose more than that. क्योंकि आपको एक बॉक्स ही बनाना है, एक फील्ड ही बनाना है, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बनाना. So up to that level, this thing has been started. So BA start working on the story writing now. It is very much important. I'm not saying that we have to do it here, no, but you have to be defined that customer ने बोला मुझे login page चाहिए. You get the requirement. 15-20 point उसने दिए. Now who will divide that part? You have to be define the units as well. You have to put the estimate for this. That guys, you give me 10 requirement on the high level. I need 4 or 5 days to bring them in the smaller part, in the story part. You are estimating that, but how much time it required to write a story? उसके बाद आप development के estimates करोगे. So these are this is the second task which we need to be understand very carefully. And I'm telling you, these things come only and only from the experience. Nothing from the other way around that you read a book and you will find out. No, until unless you will not do this part, you will not understand these things. Clear till this point? Let me go to the next slide after that. Suraj, Hitesh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, being a BA, you have to be review each requirement activity listed in the document. Now, if I say I went to a customer, he says Abdul, create a login page for me where I will have a user ID and password field. I have a cancel and OK button. If someone entered the wrong password, he or she should get the error message. You are not authorized or your password are wrong. Now it is a very high level part. I will break in this high level requirement in the separate stories. Create a web page. 1. Put the 2 fields username and the password on that web page. Second unit of work. Put the validation for that particular thing. Third validation. Third unit of work. 4th, Put the two buttons OK and cancel. Fourth. Fifth, if user enter the right password, able to redirect to the next page. 5. Number 6, if user enter the wrong password, should we get the error. Number 7, if user cancel, click on the cancel button, the password and the username field should be blank. 8. So now you see that from the customer perspective, I just have a 2-liner, but from the work perspective, I have a 8 stories need to be do here. This is important point here. So being a BA, I review each and everything that what customer told me. Did I break down all these things in a further activity or the sub activity? Each task should be completed within a 1 or 2 week period. जो हम sprints कहते हैं agile, अगर if you see the agile methodology, we call this term as a sprint. कि बॉस 1 से 2 वीक में आपका सारा काम हो जाना चाहिए. It can be independent task. It can be dependent task. Boss, I cannot put the validation until unless someone put the or create the field on the web page. Right? So वो dependent task हो गया. So all these things, these 4 or 5 major parts need to be done by the BA very carefully. Like in my day-to-day life, I do these things. I have a lot of requirement from the change team. With a lot of value streams are there. I see who is requesting what thing. Then I see, okay, until this will not done, this cannot be done. Same thing I communicated to my product owner. So this is important here. Okay, but this is one of the basic bread, butter and jam for a business analyst. अगर आप ये नहीं कर रहे, then you're not a BA. Very carefully I'm saying, if you're not doing this thing, you're not a BA at all. Now the third task is that estimate the effort per unit of work. Now if you are in front of the customer say, okay, so tell me how much time you will take to develop this web page. There's a very fancy word in English, ballpark figure. You say it will take 3 days. That is a ballpark figure. It can be 3 days, it can be 2 days, it can be 5 days. But this will be done in the estimate efforts per unit of work. There is a way of calculating, like when I was working in one of the company, I was working as a service request manager there from the ServiceNow development perspective. So if any customer send me a new requirement that I want to develop this catalog item. So we have few parameters for the same. How I can say that how much time it will take. I'll see that how much variable a customer want on the service catalog item. Number 1, if less than 5, simple. 5 to 10, medium. 10 to 15, complex. How much validation customer want on this particular catalog item? Same. 1 to 5 or 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, simple. 3 to 5, medium. 5 to 10, complex. How many tables we need to be used to build these validations? So on the basis of that, I put an effort, guys, this much, this particular request catalog item will be completed in this much man hour. It 40, 50, 70, 80 comes like this. So I created that part and send it to my counterpart and he get a sign up from the business to kick off that development part. So we have to do the estimates here. In Agile, we called as a sprint, story estimations. Sprint planning is one of the ceremony happen where every developer sit together and they do the estimation that. Like if I say, okay, Suraj, tell me, you need to create a 2 fields on a page, web page, username and the password. How much time you need it? You say, Atul, 1 day will be enough. But Hitesh said, no, it will take 3 days. I'll say, no, it take 1 day. So what we're doing, we are doing the estimates. Now Hitesh has a question, Atul, in this case, what estimate points are we going to take it? The user or the developer who put the more points, I asked for the justification. Why you say 3? He said, I say 3 because it is not mentioned that is this field already available in the table, or I have to be create the field as well in the table, and then I'll bring it to the form level. Then as a B, I say no, it is not available in the table. Okay, then we need the 3 points. This way, the agile estimation or the story or the sprint planning actually work. It is very interesting concept. Sprint planning is very interesting. I have my sprint planning alternative Wednesdays, morning 8 o'clock. 30 stories are there. Before that, I have to be define every story with a proper format. And then I present the story to my development team. Then they ask the question, Atul, this is available, this is out of the box, how this will be taken care. So these 3 steps need to be completed by the BA in this particular area. Per unit of work, and the same thing or be different. And last, use documentation from the past requirement activity for the estimation parts. I know I already built a page, home web page where the 2 fields are there. It takes 3 days only. On the basis that I can put again the 3 days unless there's a lot of changes in the current requirement. And whenever you're doing the estimates, you have to be consider the holidays, prior resource commitment. Maybe he's going on the leave after 1 week, then right? So all these things need to be considered very carefully when you're doing the estimation parts. You as a business analyst may ask that why you're putting the 6 hours or 6 days where other person is saying only 4 days. Clear till this point? We will do this exercise practically when I give you the use case. I'll ask you create one FRD document, and then we'll discuss one by one on the story point. Yes, Suraj, go ahead.
Yeah, so just for example, okay, customer has given us the requirement, create a login page.
Okay.
Now we have stories, like for example, say we have 7 stories. But during development, the developer says no, it's not 7 stories. We have to create 9 stories. So do we communicate this back to the customer? Like it would take some time, because during the development we have got some more. So
see, definitely you have to be communicate to the customer back. That is the one thing. But while communicating back, you have to be given justification as well.
Correct.
That why it's become from 7 to 9. Because 2 more stories has been created because it has a dependency on the other team. So I have to be connected with the other team to understand their process. Only then I can build this story.
So whose estimation was wrong in this case now? Is it BA or is it the development team then?
BA. Development team will be tell to you guys, I need 2 more stories. You have to be communicated to the customer that we are getting 2 more stories, one for this purpose, one for this purpose.
Okay.
Developer
so is not.
So go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was saying when we estimated the earlier thing that it would take 3 days, and we have only 7 stories. And right now we have 9 stories. So this is
no. One thing. You don't say that we have a 7 stories and it takes 3 days. No, we estimated the stories. We estimated all the stories from the point perspective. After that, it becomes 3 days or the 4 days. That is a different thing. But don't generalize कि 7 story और 3 दिन में होगी. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. हो सकता है कि 7 में से 6 story से 2 दिन में खत्म हो जाए. एक स्टोरी 3 दिन लगे, एक स्टोरी में 3 दिन पूरे लगे. सो आपको स्टोरी के पॉइंट्स पे बात करनी है. जनरलाइज करके नहीं बस 3 दिन लग रहे हैं, 4 दिन लग रहे हैं. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं.
On basis of story.
Yes, on the basis of the story, because उसमें लिखा है देखिए, if you see here, every unit of per unit of work you have to be estimate. Per unit of work you have to be estimate. ठीक है.
Okay. नहीं, पर अभी इसमें एक्सपेक्टेशन जो था, सॉरी एस्टिमेशन जो था बीए का, ये 3 डेज में कंप्लीट हो जाएगा.
हाँ, वो अप एंड डाउन हो सकता है because BA did not. हाँ, BA did not consider, and I said that it is a ballpark figure. It is not a confirmed figure.
Okay.
Customer ने पूछा कितने में हो जाएगा, because you already have experience in that area. You can say it will take 3 days maximum. But when you go to the development part, they say, no, no, we have a dependency as well. Then it will take a more time. So you have to communicate that very clearly. Okay. Then
yeah, got it.
Yeah. Okay. And then when you're doing this part, identify the assumptions as well. Very well, very clearly assumptions. I am assuming that my development team has access to create a field in the table level. That is my assumption. If they don't have access on the table level, we need to raise a request for the access and it can delay the development part and that become a risk for you. Because you assume it is the first day you are starting the development. One developer say my Jira is not working. One developer say my EDI is not working. One developer say my Java is not working because they have to be logged into Citrix. One say I don't have to log into Citrix as well. So these assumptions you have to be document. And as soon as this assumption become a reality, raise a risk for the same. That is the reason it is always said before kickoff, the access part should be very clearly sorted out. After that, customer say, boss, take 1 week and sorted out all your access. After that, if you have raised a concern for the access, I will not bother. I want a delivery on the time itself. Clear till this point?
Yes.
Now let's come to the measurement part. Sorry, scoping part. Let's come. Task on the modify the requirement plan. You can do that part. Okay. How you manage your requirement scope. To do this part, there's a few components have to be very carefully have to be created actually. If I come here on the screenshot, that will be helpful actually. This thing. How you manage the scope. So what is this saying? Manage the requirement scope. And how you manage the scope once you have a baseline available with you. Let me go back and we'll relate this part then. Here. Whenever you kick off your discussions, you should always set up the baseline. That boss, I am starting the requirement gathering or this part from this baseline. I am understanding that till now, all infrastructure to build this application is ready at your side and I need to be just kick off my development part. So baseline is a line or the standard by which the change to the requirement is compared. मतलब product development कैसे होता है? अब आप if you are building a home, how you do the comparison? When you purchase that land, it was just a land. After 5 days, when you go and you have a builder on the place, you see, oh my God, it has a 4 walls now. You are comparing with the baseline, right? So this is be important here. If customers say, no, I want some changes on my infra part, boss, you are making a change on the baselines. If you want to make a change on the baseline, my project delivery can be impacted. So what it say, it is a point of reference for the requirement, which is used as a basic. Like one of my customers say, when I develop their first phase, he says, Atul, in this incident management, my assign to button is not working. Then I said, boss, it was not in the baseline. Means you says that you already have this functionality, so I did not touch that part. If it is not working, that's fine. I will fix it for you. But don't say that it is an issue in my development. No. Before accepting your baseline, I check everything. What is working, what is not working. And after that, I take the next step on that part. And your baseline is very much important because it is an agreement that what client is giving to me and what you have to build. So like when I work on the SOWs, in the SOW it is very clearly mentioned. All the infrastructure of ServiceNow has been develop and ready, you guys can start your project. But when my team on the day when they start working on that particular project, they says, Atul, it is very slow. Even I'm not able to open the link. Later on, I came to know that they don't have a complete infrastructure available. Some of the servers are not mounted properly. Some of those servers are not placed on the right racks or the right data centers. So these are the baseline is very much important from the BA perspective, from where I'm starting the work to take my work now. It is a snapshot of the requirement. कि आपको ये सब मिलेगा, इसके ऊपर आपको बनाना है, right? The second point, structure the requirement of the traceability. Requirement traceability is very big term. It is a kind of Excel sheet. Let me show you something on the here. Requirement traceability matrix. Like this, or maybe I open like this. So in this, what you say, this one. So here are my requirements. This thing. What is completed, not completed, it is be there. Like I have a requirement and the OBS system shall, let's go some business part here. Technically, it's not good. Create contact as a user. Okay, let's see. I want to show something very easy one. Like this. Basically, your traceability matrix has a test cases as well. This thing. Like, take example, log into the application or create a web page. When you say this particular requirement has been completed, when you are able to test that part and that test has been passed here. This is the traceability. What is the meaning of the trace here? I'm tracing you. I'm checking you what you're doing in the complete day. And I'm putting everything in a form of the metrics here. So this is requirement description. What test cases are there and what is the status of that? Because tool में जो हो रहा है, जो practically system में हो रहा है वो तो हो रहा है, लेकिन कागज में बताओ कि क्या है. कागज में ये आपको बताएगा, ट्रेसेबिलिटी मैट्रिक्स आपको बताएगा. तो ये बीए का काम है, ट्रेसेबिलिटी मैट्रिक्स का स्ट्रक्चर बनाना. टेस्ट केस लिखना बीए का काम नहीं है. BA just put the high level test cases or a high level steps only, not a complete test case as well. That is very much important. Requirement traceability assists in managing the changes to the requirement that will occur after the requirement are the baseline. भाई आपको 5 रिक्वायरमेंट दी थी, अब 6ठी और आ गई. ठीक है, डाल दो भाई, देखते हैं क्या करना है इसका फिर आगे. ठीक है, क्योंकि अगर आपका बेसलाइन नहीं होगा तो आप काम नहीं कर पाओगे. But if you don't have a land, how you can build a flat on the or house on the top of that? You need some baseline on the top. Right? What it said, traceability allow the business analyst to verify several items. First, that interest of all parties affected by change. That who are going to be impacted by these things if it is not been developed properly. Then all impact of the changes solution scope. If this requirement has been changed or this requirement has been failed, what is the impact on this or upcoming one? And last, the elapsed between the specification of the requirement and its implementation. मुझे 5 स्टोरी बोली गई थी, 2 दिन का टाइम था, लेकिन 4 स्टोरी हुई हैं, अभी सिर्फ आधा दिन बचा हुआ है. Just to see that how many are asked here. So this matrix is very helpful for the BA part, but I'm doing a structure here. मैं नहीं कह रहा कि आप उसमें डेटा डालो, नहीं, डेटा बाद में आएगा, लेकिन आप पहले उसका स्ट्रक्चर डिफाइन करो. And these are the several type of traceability information BA maintain. Source, ये requirement कहां से आ रही है? Finance team, tax team, law team, which team is giving? Rational. By putting this requirement in my matrix, what goal I am achieving it? It's a design or a test. And finally, interface. Is it be required to be connected with some other system, or it will be work with the same system only? So these things again important. I done this part in my one of the project as well. Prepare a complete traceability matrix, but it's a very heavy task, but it is a good place to track everything you want to do. Pass, fail, test case क्या थे नहीं थे. Nowadays it is not much required because everything you can track in the tools like Jira हो गया, ServiceNow हो गया, Salesforce के tool हैं कुछ, multiple tools are there. But earlier it was on the Excel sheet only. Clear till this point, guys? Like this, it's saying traceability matrix.
Yes.
Okay. So it is a one set of element to the another one. इस प्रोडक्ट की कितनी रिक्वायरमेंट्स हो चुकी हैं, so that you can see that where we are standing on the product perspective. Clear? So again, from the practical part, once you create this, you will be able to understand. So now if you're working in a process domain, in this particular BA domain, let's go and see that how many or what traceability metrics you have in your bucket now. Try to divide that. This is my product. This is a requirement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many is passed? How many is failed here? So that you can tell that boss, 80% project has been completed as per my traceability metrics. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Maintain scope. Okay, we'll do this thing and then close. And to do this part, that in this area, when you are doing the estimation, because sorry, we are not in the estimation, we are in the scoping part. When you're understanding the scoping, when you define the scoping, you have to be understand the external systems or the area of the project. मेरा एक बंदा बैठता है यूएस में है, वो मेरे से 12 hours पीछे चलता है. Now you have to be understand that as well. It's a external, it's an internal system. क्योंकि मेरी टीम यूएस में बैठती है, मेरा क्लाइंट यूएस में बैठता है. If I log in in the Indian morning time, I have to be wait the complete day to get the requirement clarified. One of the area for the scoping part, you have to be defined that can we have a BA or can we build our team as per the US time zones as well. And at last, scope of change resulting from the requirement change. If you are making any change, how this change will be controlled from the different governance perspective, like system development, process improvement, organizational changes. So all these things you have to be understand. Mainly, if I talk from the practical experience, we mainly deal on the traceability matrix. Nothing much. Not on this area. Sorry, not on baseline. Yes, we get it. Baseline is only required when you kick off the new project. But when project is already running, 5-7 years is going now, then nobody take care this part. Then we already worried about the matrix. कि boss ये बताओ चल क्या रहा है मेरे system में भी, हमने कितना development कर लिया, how much we have done, how much is left now. Okay. Clear.
Clear, Atul. Thanks.
Good. Suraj.
Yeah.
Good. So let's close it, or do you want to be continue for the another 2 topics? Let me see how much is left. Reporting. काफी हैं. We'll do it on next class, no problem. Okay, so let me stop the recording here, guys.